Hello everyone. In this video, we're gonna look at my screen a little bit here because I'm recording it outside of my normal Zoom call and recording and then pushing to YouTube. So in this particular recording, what we're gonna examine is kind of a training document that I created for my son years ago when he first started in his automotive sales journey. So I wanted to kind of give him the mindset of understanding sales follow-up from a BDC perspective and a salesperson perspective. So I have all these great notes. And as a leader and as a manager, as an automotive professional, as a sales professional, we get bombarded with all kinds of notes and ideas. And sometimes the thing is what do we do to put them together? So one of the products that I used just recently was NotebookLM. And NotebookLM is powered by an AI from Gemini. So anybody can go on here and try it for free right now. At some point for business, if you're going to be using it for lectures or a study guide, as well as a podcast, it's wonderful. So if you try NotebookLM, it's your personalized assistant. It'll give you some instant insights. You add your sources. So I just copied and pasted on my last one, but one before that, and if you look at my previous LinkedIn post, you'll see a post that I did talking about, or you'll see a post that I did that's a podcast. And it's actually a podcast talking about AutoGenie.ai. So all I did was copy the URL to the website and upload it. And I just started creating the prompts to what I wanted to talk about. And it generated a podcast for me. So great way to train salespeople, managers, get your point across to people is by having a podcast. Now I could take that same podcast and I can upload it to a video, or I can just use that as my script. So many ways to use it. So getting back to this, so after you upload your content, so you add your source, add your content, then you just create. So you create, you wait a couple seconds and an audio file creates. So we're gonna look at one such audio file. And again, this is a training template that I use. It's just a framework. Doesn't mean that you have to use it in the BDC, but it's going to help you if you are in the BDC and understanding things a little bit differently. So let's listen to my notes that I compiled over years from professionals and groups like my friend Liz at the Napleton Group, my friend Lori at Motorworks, people like Sean Wells from Car Biz Done Better, John Resurrection, and even Joe Webb and other people that have given me ideas, and back in the day, Joe Verdi, that have given me different ideas and things and notes that I've kept together pertaining to BDC. Now these change and evolve. So again, this is just a framework and a template. So here we go.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the world of customer communication.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, specifically how car dealerships, their business development centers, BDCs, handle those crucial first calls with customers.
Those first interactions, those are so important, aren't they?
Absolutely. And, whether you're in sales yourself or customer service, or honestly just want to get better at talking on the phone,
right?
This deep dive is going to have some good stuff for you.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Those BDC calls,
yeah,
they're often the very first impression a customer has of a dealership. Kind of like, the opening scene of a movie.
Oh, totally. Sets the whole tone.
Exactly.
And what we've got here is this 5-step framework to break down. It's called Engage, Qualify, Guide, Follow Up, and Confirm and Handoff.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's way more than just your typical script.
I was going to say.
Like, this is a whole system for making those calls go smoothly.
Makes sense. Creating that good experience for the customer from the get-go, not just trying to push a sale.
Exactly, making them feel heard. So let's start with Engage, that first step. I was looking through the source material, and it really stresses how important those first few seconds of a call are.
Oh, I bet. Snap judgments and all that.
Yeah. Like when you meet someone new and you just get a feeling about them right away.
It's the same on the phone. People are making those judgments super fast.
Totally. And they actually give you specific phrases in the material to use, depending on if it's an inbound or outbound call.
Oh, smart.
So if someone's calling about a specific car they saw online or something, the BDC rep would say something like, "Thank you for calling dealership name. My name is BDC representative's name. How can I assist you with the vehicle model?
Oh, I see. So right away you're showing the customer, hey, I'm not just reading some generic script here.
Right. I know what you're calling it.
Exactly. You've actually taken a second to register their interest.
I see you. I hear you. Let's talk about this car. Now, for outbound calls, those follow-ups after someone fills out a form online,
Right.
they give the example. Hello, customer's name. I'm reaching out from dealership name about your interest in the vehicle model. I'd be happy to answer any questions or set up a time for you to see it in person.
Okay, so again, very personalized.
Yep.
Think about it from your own perspective, though. Wouldn't you be way more open to a call like that? One that acknowledges why you're actually interested.
Oh, for sure. Way better than just some random sales pitch.
Huge difference. It's like you feel like a valued customer, not just some target.
Exactly. And that leads us to the next step, qualify. This is where the BDC rep kind of becomes like a detective, figuring out what the customer truly wants.
Ooh, I like that. Getting to the bottom of things.
Right. The material calls it uncovering needs and preferences, and I thought that was so clever.
Yeah. It's like you're solving a puzzle, not just trying to close a deal. And honestly, isn't that the best kind of salesperson? The one who's actually trying to help you?
Oh, absolutely.
We've all dealt with that pushy salesperson who just wants to sell you whatever they can, whether you need it or not.
The worst. It's such a turnoff.
Exactly. And that's what this qualify step avoids. Asking the right questions so everyone's time is being used well.
Makes total sense. And they give some good example questions like, are there any specific features you're interested in for the vehicle model?
Good one.
Or have you had the chance to test drive this model, or would you be interested in scheduling one?
See, that's a nice way to bring that up.
Right. It's not like, you need to test drive this car.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed, letting the customer think, yeah, maybe I should test drive it.
Totally. And then for the BDC, those answers give them valuable info.
Of course.
Helps them guide the conversation and make sure it's actually what the customer wants.
It's a win-win. So we've engaged the customer, figured out what they need. What's next?
Time to guide them toward actually visiting the dealership.
Okay. So this is where we start, nudging them towards that visit.
Yeah, but it's all about subtlety. It's not a hard sell.
Gotcha.
The source material calls it actionable invitations, which I thought was a great phrase. It's like you're presenting the visit as the next logical step.
The natural progression.
Right. Like to get closer to what they want. So, for example, they might say, we'd love for you to come by and take a closer look at the vehicle. Would Saturday work for you?
Ooh, yeah. Casual but specific.
Or it sounds like you'd like to see a few different models in person.
Right.
We can arrange a time for you to compare options side by side. How does tomorrow afternoon sound?
Nice. You're giving them like a tangible reason to come in.
Exactly. And that's what makes this framework so good. It's not about manipulating anyone. It's about genuinely being helpful.
I was going to say, it all seems very customer focused,
Right. It's appealing to what the customer actually wants. Way better than feeling pressured into something you're not sure about.
Absolutely. But of course, not everyone's going to be ready to book an appointment right there on the call.
Sure.
That's where the follow-up comes in.
Oh, yeah. And this is where it gets kind of like a choose your own adventure, depending on how that call went.
I like that. So let's say the customer did book an appointment. What happens then? Well, you want to keep that positive feeling going. Make sure they're excited about coming in. So maybe send a message with some extra details about the car.
Oh, good idea.
Like a video showcasing its features, or maybe even a link to apply for financing online to save some time at the dealership.
Ah, smart. And wouldn't you know it, the material actually has a sample message for this. We look forward to seeing you for your appointment. Here's a link to the Auto I packet for details on the vehicle model. Feel free to complete our online credit application to save time.
Perfect. Concise, informative, and gets them prepped.
Yep. Now, what about those customers who didn't book an appointment? How do you follow up without being annoying?
The fine line.
Right. It's all about staying on their radar without being pushy.
Yeah, you don't want to scare them off.
Exactly. So maybe you mentioned there's a special deal going on for that model, or, if they said they needed certain features, suggest some other vehicles that might be a good fit.
Oh, like you were actually listening to what they said.
Hey, I remember you said this, so I thought of you when I saw this. It's all about providing value.
I like it.
And yep, they have a sample message for this too. Thanks again for your interest in the vehicle model. If you're still considering your options, we have a few similar vehicles that may meet your needs. Let me know if you'd like more information.
It's like, hey, I'm here if you need me, but no pressure. Subtle but effective.
Exactly. So we've engaged, qualified, guided, followed up. that brings us to the last step. Confirm and handoff.
Okay, so this seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you'd think so, but there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, this is all about making that final handoff to the actual salesperson at the dealership go super smoothly.
Oh, right. Setting everyone up for success.
Exactly. So the BDC rep confirms all the details, date, time, who to ask for when they arrive at the dealership, and even clear directions to the dealership so the customer doesn't get lost.
All those little details. I bet they're appreciated.
Totally. The material even has a sample confirmation here. Just a reminder, we have you scheduled to see the vehicle model tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please ask for salesperson's name when you arrive. Simple, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, covers all the bases. But there's more, right?
Right. The BDC rep also gives the salesperson a quick rundown of what the customer needs and wants.
So it's like a smooth baton pass from the phone call to the actual showroom.
Exactly. And here's the interesting thing. The source material says a successful confirm and handoff actually ties back to that very first step, engage.
Oh, interesting. It's like it all comes full circle.
Think about it. That positive first impression you made at the beginning carries through to the in-person interaction. Like each step builds on the one before it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. A chain reaction of good experiences.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm starting to get why this framework is so effective. It's a whole holistic approach.
It really is. And it benefits everyone involved, the customer and the dealership.
And what's amazing is how it blends psychology with actual techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just about selling cars. It's about understanding people.
We're back. And man, this framework is really clever how it guides the whole customer interaction.
It really shows just how valuable a good BDC is to a car dealership.
Right.
They're not just answering phones. They're like setting the stage, for that sale to hopefully happen down the line.
I love that. It's strategic.
It is.
When you're using a system like this consistently, what kind of results do you actually see?
Well, think about it. Your customers are going to be happier, right?
Yeah.
They feel like they're being listened to, which means they're more likely to recommend the dealership to other people.
Word of mouth, that's huge.
Huge. And then when you book appointments, people actually show up because they had that good experience on the phone.
Yeah.
And, on the sales side, the salespeople are happy because they're getting these customers who are already kind of prepped.
It's like everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
Yeah.
What about you? What stands out to you the most about this whole system?
And I think for me, it's that reminder that even though everything is getting so automated these days,
Oh, tell me about it.
chatbots, all that human connection still matters so much.
It really does.
This shows you don't just need fancy tech, you need real people.
People buy from people, right? That's what they say.
It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this framework does. It gives you a way to show you care from the very first hello.
Right. I bet everyone listening can relate to this. Think about those times you call customer service and you just feel like the person on the other end isn't even listening to you.
The worst. Like you're talking to a robot.
You explain your problem 3 times and they're still reading from some script.
Oh, yeah.
That has nothing to do with what you're saying.
That's why this framework is so good. It's about putting that human connection first.
Yeah.
It's not about tricks or scripts.
It's about understanding.
It's about empathy. The funny thing is, this isn't just for car dealerships.
Oh, totally. I was just thinking that any business that uses the phone to talk to customers could learn from this.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're in sales or customer service or honestly, just trying to have better conversations on the phone in general.
Seriously. I'm curious, has anyone ever used these techniques on you guys? Like you're talking to a salesperson.
Yeah.
And they're asking such good questions that you actually feel like they're trying to help, not just make a sale.
Oh, yeah. Or when they follow up and it doesn't feel pushy at all, it just feels like they're checking in. It makes a huge difference.
Huge. This framework gives you a way to do that.
That's a good point. It's like a roadmap for those good interactions.
We were talking about the follow-up step earlier. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, get excited about a potential sale, and then totally forget to follow up.
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
But the source material here really makes it clear how important that follow-up is.
Especially if the customer isn't ready to commit right away.
Exactly. The key is that follow-up shouldn't feel like pressure.
Right.
It should feel like you're being helpful, offering something valuable.
Like you're genuinely trying to help them figure things out.
Yeah. And they even give you specific examples of follow-up messages depending on whether the customer booked an appointment or not.
Oh, nice. Those are always helpful.
So for someone who booked an appointment, they suggest saying something like, "We look forward to seeing you for your appointment. Here's a link to the auto iPacket for details on the vehicle model. Feel free to complete our online credit application to save time."
So you're confirming everything.
Yep.
And making them feel good about their decision.
Giving them some extra resources.
Yeah. Now, what about for the people who didn't book an appointment?
For them, the example is, "Thanks again for your interest in the vehicle model. If you're still considering your options, we have a few similar vehicles that may meet your needs. Let me know if you'd like more information."
Again, no pressure.
Just helpful.
Just helpful. It's amazing how a small change in how you say something can make such a big difference.
I know, right? You know, what really stands out to me about this whole framework is how timeless it feels.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about some trendy sales tactic or a trick.
Mhm.
It's about basic human stuff.
Yeah, building trust.
Understanding what someone needs and helping them find what works for them.
It's about connection.
Yeah,
And that's something that'll never go out of style no matter how much technology changes things.
absolutely. And speaking of technology changing things, that brings us to our final thought-provoking question for you all to ponder.
Ooh, I like it.
So stick around for the last part of our deep dive. Okay, we're back. For the final part of our deep dive into this BDC call engagement framework,
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about all the steps, the psychology behind it,
Yeah.
even how we can apply the stuff to our own lives.
Right.
But like we promised, we want to leave you with something to really think about.
Okay, I'm ready.
So this whole framework, with its focus on like real human connection
Yeah.
and that personalized communication,
Yeah.
really brings up a big question,
What's that?
you know, with all this automation
Oh,
happening.
yeah, all the chat bots and AI and stuff.
Exactly. What does this tell us about how important that human element still is?
That's a great question. It's like this framework is kind of pushing back against the idea that, one day machines are just going to handle all of our communication.
Yeah, like maybe that's not the future after all.
Yeah. I mean, it suggests that no matter how good technology gets, we're still going to need those things that only humans can do.
Like
Empathy, being able to read between the lines, and adapting when a conversation goes in a direction you weren't expecting.
those are all such human skills.
Totally.
Yeah.
And think about it from the customer side. Don't you feel so much better when you know you're talking to an actual person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone who's really trying to get what you need?
For sure.
There's just something about that human touch that you can't really fake with a machine,
It's that warmth, that authenticity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference when you're trying to build trust with someone.
Huge difference. So maybe this framework is bigger than just selling cars.
Interesting.
Maybe it's about like holding on to those human connections in this world that's becoming so digital.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, it's a way to stay connected.
So for everyone listening,
Yeah.
think about that.
Okay.
How can we use these same principles,
Mhm.
engaging, qualifying, guiding, all of that,
Yeah.
to make all of our relationships better?
That's a great takeaway. It's about bringing more of that human touch into every part of our lives.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the BDC call engagement framework.
This was a good one,
We hope you learned something new about communication.
and about those all-important human connections.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
All right. So you just had a preview of how to set up a BDC framework. Again, I'm not saying you have to use the framework from my notes. That was compiled over years of knowledge and people that I know in the car business, as well as things that I've done myself in managing different departments. So great knowledge set there, right? Some easy steps. You may agree, disagree, tweak them, do whatever you want, but utilize them. But the also point of this is a couple points. One, you have tools like NotebookLM. So it's notebooklm.google.com. And again, I apologize for dogs barking. You're always going to get that at a podcast with me or a video. So that being said, go there, utilize it, upload your notes, put your links there, figure out your study guides. It's great to assist you with training guides. Obviously, a podcast you can create with it, right? Or a video. But, this is an excellent product that you can pull up your study guide. And it'll give you generate an actual guide as a handout for everybody. So again, great product. Unfortunately, it's going to need a couple seconds to think. But, something that I think as we go on in the world here, you're going to come up with utilizing. Obviously, I didn't want to open and doesn't function that well on my iPad. It was probably made for a PC or a Mac. But the nice things is that you can make a study guide up, you can hand it out, you can do a quiz with it. It would help you in training your BDC staff. It would help you with any type of meeting going forward. And again, as you saw, it'll help you with the podcast. Have a great day.